Girl notices, evil man, offering free ice cream to kids, but what she does next saves the day. It was a warm Saturday afternoon. The sun peeked through the trees, and kids' laughter filled the air at the neighborhood park. 11-year-old Maya held her little brother Jordan's hand as they stepped out of their mom's car. Jordan, just 7, tugged at Maya's hoodie, already excited. "Can we go to the monkey bars first, please?" he asked, almost jumping. Maya smiled and nodded. Their mom, still in her hospital scrubs from a long shift, stretched her arms and leaned back on a park bench. "Go ahead," she said. "Just stay where I can see you. I need to take this call." Maya understood. Lately, her mom had been working extra hours ever since their dad moved out. She didn't complain. She just made sure Jordan had fun, and today felt like a perfect day for it. As Jordan ran toward the monkey bars, Maya followed close, eyes always moving. She wasn't the type to get lost in the moment. She liked knowing what was going on around her. That's when she heard it. The familiar sound of an ice cream truck, the cheerful jingle floating on the wind. It got louder, and kids all around the park looked up, smiling and shouting. Even Jordan stopped mid-climb and pointed. "Ice cream!" The truck turned the corner and rolled slowly toward the curb. But Maya didn't smile. It wasn't like the usual ice cream truck that came down their street. This one was different. It was pure white, no stickers, no menu signs, no bright pictures of ice cream cones or cartoon characters, just blank. The truck came to a stop. Its service window slid open, and a man leaned out, wearing a blue polo shirt. He looked friendly on the outside, smiling wide, waving. "Free. Ice cream today, kids," he called out. "Come get your favorite treat." Kids ran toward him like moths to a light. Maya didn't move. She held Jordan's hand tighter. "Wait," she whispered. Jordan looked up at her, confused. "Why?" "It's free. I just want to check first." Maya watched carefully. The man's smile looked too perfect, too fixed. His eyes moved quickly from kid to kid, never staying on one too long. But he never looked at the parents. As more kids crowded the truck, Maya noticed something else. The man pulled out a small notebook and a pen. Every so often, after giving out a cone or a popsicle, he'd write something down. Then Maya saw him ask a little girl in a yellow dress something strange. The girl was maybe 5 or 6. She had wandered away from her mom, who was still sitting near the swings. "What's your name, sweetheart?" the man asked in a soft voice. "Is your mommy here with you today?" The girl pointed somewhere, but the man didn't look. He just smiled, handed her a popsicle, and jotted something in his notebook again. Maya's stomach flipped. That wasn't right. Something about the way he was asking, the way he looked around before writing. It didn't feel like normal ice cream truck stuff. And why did he need to know if the little girl was alone? Maya turned and looked back at her mom. She was still on the phone, pacing near the trees with her back to the playground. "Please, can we just get one ice cream?" Jordan asked again. Maya didn't answer. Her eyes stayed locked on the man in his truck. She noticed him glance down, at his phone between servings. Then he'd look back up and keep smiling. She took a step forward, still holding Jordan's hand. Her heart was starting to beat faster, and she didn't even know why yet. But something was wrong. Something about this man didn't feel safe, and Maya wasn't about to let her little brother or any other kid go near that truck until she knew exactly what was going on. Maya didn't move. She stood near the edge of the playground, one hand gently resting on Jordan's shoulder. He was bouncing on his toes, eyes still locked on the growing line of kids around the ice cream truck. "Come on," he whispered. "Everyone's getting one. What if they run out?" Maya didn't answer right away. Her eyes were fixed on the man behind the truck window. He was still smiling, still handing out ice cream cones with practiced ease. But that smile, it was starting to bother her more and more. It didn't feel real. It looked stuck on, like someone wearing a mask for too long. And the truck, still completely plain. No brand name, no phone number, not even a sticker. Just a bright white van that looked almost too clean. Then she saw it again. The man leaned closer to a little boy standing alone near the front of the line. He bent down slightly and asked, "Do you live around here? Does your dad pick you up from school?" The boy mumbled something. The man nodded, handed him a cone, and wrote something down in his notebook. Again. Maya felt her chest tighten. Why would he need to know where the kid lived or who picked him up? That's when she realized he was choosing who to talk to. He wasn't just handing out ice cream to everyone. He was watching the kids first. He skipped over ones whose parents were nearby and focused on the ones who had wandered a little too far or were standing alone. Maya scanned the park. Most of the parents were chatting, looking at their phones, or sitting on benches far from the truck. Her own mom was still deep in a phone call, pacing under the trees. She couldn't hear or see what was going on near the curb. Jordan tugged her hand again. "Maya, please." She shook her head gently, pulling him back another step. "Not yet." The ice cream man looked up for a second and caught her watching him. Just for a split moment. And in that tiny second, his smile dropped. It vanished, like someone flipping off a light. His eyes met hers, sharp, cold, not friendly at all. Then, just as quickly, the smile snapped back in place. He turned away and waved to a small girl who was holding a teddy bear. "Hey, want a special sundae? I've got one just for you." Maya's stomach dropped. Special sundae. Just for you. She looked around. The girl's mom was way back on a bench talking to another parent. The girl was walking slowly toward the truck. Maya stepped forward. "Stay with me," she said to Jordan. "Don't let go." He looked up at her, confused now. "Why are you being so weird?" "I'm not," she said. I think that man's not really here to give ice cream." Jordan blinked. "But he is giving ice cream." "Yeah," Maya said quietly. "But I don't think that's the only reason he's here." She remembered something from school, a safety talk they had last year. The officer said sometimes bad people pretend to be friendly to get close to kids. They give gifts, offer candy, or ask personal questions. It all sounded harmless, until it wasn't. Maya's eyes darted back to the man. He had finished giving the girl her treat, and now he was back to typing something on his phone. Serve, smile, type, watch, write. Again and again. It was a pattern. Maya didn't know exactly what he was writing down, but she knew it wasn't normal. He wasn't acting like the usual ice cream man from their street. The one with the music that always played too loud, who wore a goofy hat and knew everyone's name. That guy didn't write things down. He didn't ask about parents or school pickups, and he sure didn't look scared when adults got close. This man did. Every time a grown-up came near, even accidentally, the man's shoulders stiffened. He pulled back a little, stopped typing. Sometimes he even paused handing out ice cream until they walked away. Maya looked over at her mom, still on the phone, still unaware. She looked at the other parents. No one else seemed to notice anything. Strange. Some were even smiling as they watched their kids eat treats. So why was Maya the only one who felt the pit in her stomach getting heavier? Her eyes returned to the truck. The man was now leaning down again, talking to a boy. This one a little. Older, maybe 8. The boy was alone. Maya couldn't hear what the man said, but she could tell by the way he was speaking. Soft, too soft, the way he leaned in too close. It wasn't right. Then she caught the words. "I've got toys in the back. Wanna see?" Her heart stopped. Toys in the back. That's when she knew. This wasn't just weird. This was dangerous. She wrapped her arm around Jordan and whispered, "Stay close to me. Don't move." Maya didn't have a full plan yet. She didn't know exactly what she was going to do, but she knew this. Something bad was about to happen if she didn't act soon. Maya stayed near the edge of the playground, half shielded by the tall metal climbing frame where Jordan now sat, legs dangling, distracted by a bug crawling across the bars. But Maya wasn't distracted. She was watching everything. The man was still by the truck, handing out ice cream, smiling, laughing, but none of it reached his eyes. They kept moving, scanning, calculating, watching which kids had wandered away from their parents, noticing which ones hesitated. His voice stayed, light, but Maya could feel the weight behind it. He wasn't there to give joy. He was there to take something. Maya's hands tightened into small fists. She looked back toward her mom again, hoping maybe she'd finished her call. But no, still pacing slowly under the trees, phone pressed to her ear. Her back was turned to everything. She had to make a decision. Fast. A girl in red shorts had wandered to the front of the truck now. She was tiny, maybe 5. No one seemed to be watching her. Maya didn't even know who her parent was. The girl looked up at the man through the serving window, and he leaned closer. "I've got something really special in the back," he said, barely loud enough for Maya to hear. "A big toy surprise, just for you. Want to come around the back and help me get it?" The little girl nodded. Maya's breath caught. "No," she whispered, barely able to hear her own voice. She turned, quickly, her eyes scanning the park. She spotted a woman sitting near the flower beds, looking at her phone. The woman had short brown hair and a green tote bag, and Maya suddenly remembered. She was the mom of a girl in Maya's school. Without thinking, Maya rushed over. "Excuse." "Me," she said, her voice shaking. The woman looked up, surprised. "Maya, everything okay?" "I think something's wrong with the ice cream man," she said. "He's asking kids weird questions and trying to get them to come around the back of the truck." The woman blinked, trying to process. What kind of questions? Like, if their parents are here, if they live nearby. One boy, he told him his mom sent him to pick him up, and she was literally sitting on a bench 10 feet away. The woman's expression shifted from confused to alert. She sat up straighter, eyes flicking toward the truck. "And the truck doesn't have any stickers or anything. It's all plain. He doesn't wear a name tag. He keeps writing stuff down in a notebook. I've been watching him. He looks away every time a grown-up gets close." The woman nodded slowly, her mouth tightening. Okay, stay here. I'm going to take a look." Maya stayed still as the woman got up and walked toward the truck. She didn't go too close, just stood behind the other parents and looked. Then she circled back toward Maya, her face serious. "You're right. Something does feel off." Maya felt both relief and fear rush through her. "So what do we do?" The woman hesitated. "Well, he hasn't done anything. Not yet. But you were smart to notice all that. I'm going to hang nearby and keep watching. If he does one more thing that seems wrong, I'll call the police." Maya nodded, but it didn't feel like enough. Back by the truck, the little girl had backed away, thankfully distracted by her mom waving her over from the picnic table. But Maya knew it wouldn't be long before someone else wandered close. She looked at Jordan, who had climbed to the very top of the climbing frame and was now calling down to her proudly, "I made it to the top." She forced a smile. "Good job." But her eyes went right back to the man. He was back to typing something into his phone, glancing up quickly and down again. Like he was building a list. A list of what? Names? Locations? Routines? Maya didn't. No, but it scared her. Then something else happened. A boy, maybe 6 or 7, ran past, holding a dripping cone. "He said he's got a prize for kids who go behind the truck," the boy shouted to another. "He said there's even a scooter back there." Maya froze. That was it. Not a hunch. not a weird feeling. That was not okay. She looked at the woman with the green tote bag. The woman had heard it too. She pulled out her phone. Maya stepped forward, not toward the truck, not yet, but closer. She needed to be ready. If that man tried to lure one more child behind that truck, she wasn't going to stay silent anymore. She looked at Jordan again, who was now on the ground and picking flowers nearby. "Stay here," she said. "Okay? Don't move." He nodded, sensing the change in her voice, and Maya turned back toward the truck, heart pounding harder with every step. She didn't have a plan yet, but she knew this: if no one else was going, to stop him, she would. Maya's legs felt stiff, like her feet were stuck to the grass, but her heart was moving fast, faster than her thoughts could keep up. The crowd of children around the ice cream truck had only gotten larger. Some were skipping back with popsicles, sticky fingers, and wide smiles. A few of them were wandering behind the truck's side, following the man's voice, the part where adults couldn't see. And the man? Still smiling, still watching, still writing. Maya swallowed hard. The fear she felt was no longer quiet or vague. It was loud now, like a siren in her head. Every instinct screamed at her, "Do something." She scanned the area one more time. Her mom was finally off the phone, but now, talking with another woman, laughing about something. The other parents nearby were still chatting, distracted, trusting that because the sun was out and the kids were laughing, everything must be okay. But it wasn't. That trust, the trust that parks are safe, that people who hand out free ice, cream must be kind, was what he was hiding behind, and Maya had seen through it. Then suddenly, she saw a little girl, the same one from earlier with the teddy bear, approaching the back corner of the truck again. The man was bent low, now kneeling beside the open side panel. In his hand was a small cup overflowing with whipped cream, sprinkles, and bright red syrup. "This is just for you," Maya heard him say. "It's got a surprise toy with it. Come get it, sweetheart." The girl looked hesitant but inched closer, and then Maya saw it. The man's other hand, the one behind his back, was reaching toward the handle of the truck's rear door. Maya didn't think. She didn't plan. She acted. "Hey!" Her voice cut sharply across the playground like a bell. The man flinched. His hand froze. Every head turned. Maya was standing just a few steps away from the truck now, her voice rising with each word, her face flushed but steady. "Why doesn't your truck have any logos on it?" she asked, her voice loud enough for everyone to hear. "Why are you hiding the name of your business?" The man stood up fast, towering over her, his smile still plastered on his face. But now it trembled at the edges. "It's just a small company," he said quickly. "We're starting out. It's just free treats today, nothing more." "Then why do you keep asking little kids if they're alone?" Maya pressed. Her voice was clear, strong. "Why are you writing down things after they tell you stuff?" Some of the parents were standing now. One dad put down his coffee cup and stepped toward the truck. A few moms grabbed their kids' hands and pulled them back from the line. "Go." "Just trying to brighten their day," the man said, chuckling nervously. "You know how kids love free stuff." "Then show us your license," Maya said. "If you're a real ice cream man, show us your food permit, your ID, anything." The man's face hardened, just for a second. The smile was gone. His eyes darted toward the inside of the truck, toward the steering wheel. Then someone else stepped forward. The woman with the green tote bag who Maya had spoken to earlier. "I heard him too," she said firmly. "He told a little boy his mom sent him to be picked up, but she was right there on the bench." Now the crowd was fully watching. The park had shifted. The air felt tighter. He knew it too. One of the dads pulled out his phone. "I'm calling the police." The man stepped back, bumping into the side of his truck. "Wait, this is a misunderstanding," he said quickly, his voice higher now. "She's making this up. Just a kid with an imagination. I'm not making anything up, Maya snapped. I've been watching you for 30 minutes. You're only talking to the kids who are alone. You keep writing things down. You told that girl there's a toy in the back of your truck. The little girl with the teddy bear backed up slowly, frightened now. She looked at her mother, who had finally arrived at the scene and was clutching her phone with shaking hands. I've got a camera on my phone, Maya said, stepping forward. If you try to run, I'll get your license plate. The man's face twisted. He moved fast, faster than anyone expected. He dropped the sundae on the ground, yanked the back door shut, and sprinted for the driver's side of the truck. A few adults tried to block him, but he shoved past. The truck engine growled to life, tires kicking up gravel. Move back! Someone yelled as the truck sped away. Children screamed. Parents pulled them close. Maya stood frozen, heart pounding, the wind from the truck rushing past her. The truck turned the corner and disappeared, leaving behind a trail of spilled napkins and melting ice cream. The silence was thick, everyone still stunned. Then, slowly, voices rose. Panicked, angry, confused. Maya! Her mom rushed to her, kneeling down, hands trembling as she held her face. Are you okay? What just happened? I think, Maya breathed, still shaking. I think he was going to take someone. One of the moms shouted, The police! Someone call right now! I already did, said the dad with the phone. They're on their way. The woman with the green tote looked at Maya with wide, grateful eyes. You saved that little girl. Maya didn't feel like a hero. She felt like she could finally breathe again, but somewhere inside her she knew. This wasn't over, and next time she'd be ready. The sirens came faster than Maya expected. 2 patrol cars rolled into the park, their red and blue lights flashing against the green trees and colorful playground. The parents who had been calling out moments ago were now guiding their kids to safety, herding them toward the benches and picnic tables, away from the street and the trail of scattered napkins left behind by the ice cream truck. Maya stood still, her hand still in her mother's. She could hear her heart pounding louder. Then the sirens. The police stepped out quickly. 2 officers in dark uniforms, eyes scanning the area, already taking in the tension in the air. One of them, a woman with graying hair pulled into a tight bun, walked over and lowered herself to Maya's level. You're the one who saw what happened? She asked gently. Maya nodded. Her throat felt tight, but her voice came out steady. He was watching the kids who were alone, asking them weird questions, like where they lived if their parents were around. He told a little girl to come to the back of his truck to get a toy. And when someone said they were calling the police, he ran! The officer's face didn't flinch, but her eyes sharpened. She pulled a small notebook from her pocket. Can you describe him? Maya paused for only a second, then began to list off the details. His polo shirt, the way his eyes darted, the fake smile, the notebook he wrote in, the silver watch on his wrist, even the scar above his eyebrow. Her mother stood nearby, listening in stunned silence. I also saw him write in a small black notebook, Maya added. He kept typing stuff on his phone between kids. He didn't ask anything when parents were close, but when kids were alone, he paid a lot of attention. The officer nodded slowly as she wrote. That's incredibly observant, Maya. Did you happen to get a photo of the truck? I didn't get a picture, Maya said quietly, but I remember it exactly. It was completely white, no logo, no sign, just plain. The license plate was dirty, like someone smeared mud on it on purpose. The officer looked up. You noticed all that? Maya nodded. I was watching him the whole time. More officers had arrived by now, including one who began gathering statements from other adults nearby. One of the moms mentioned she'd started filming just after Maya began shouting. She offered her phone to the police. Another parent mentioned the park had installed new security cameras near the entrance last month. After a string of vandalism, one of the officers broke off to make a call. As the crowd started to settle, Maya sat down on a bench with her mom and Jordan, who had quietly wrapped his arms around his big sister. "You did good," her mom whispered. "You did really, really good." Maya didn't answer. She wasn't sure how she felt. Proud, maybe, relieved, but also overwhelmed. Like everything had happened too fast. One of the officers returned and crouched in front of them again. "Maya, just so you know, we found something." She held up a clear plastic bag, sealed tight. Inside was a small, black notebook with bent corners and pages filled with messy handwriting. "He dropped this when he ran," the officer explained. "It looks like he's been keeping notes, lots of them, about kids." Maya stared at the notebook. The officer opened it carefully, shielding the pages so the younger kids nearby couldn't see. Her expression darkened as she flipped through. "Times, names, locations," she muttered under her breath. He was watching, planning. Chill ran down Maya's spine. Another officer stepped up, his radio buzzing. "Security footage confirms the truck was parked outside the park for at least 40 minutes. We've got the direction he drove off in. Traffic cams might pick him up. We're pushing an alert now." Maya sat back, holding Jordan's hand. Around her, other parents were gathering up their children, holding them tighter than before. Some were crying, others were angry, and all of them, every single one, had now turned to look at Maya with something different in their eyes. Respect, gratitude, because she had seen what no one else did, because she hadn't stayed quiet. The officer stood up and turned to the growing crowd. "We're collecting statements from anyone who noticed suspicious behavior. If you or your children spoke to this man, we need to know. But before we do anything else, I want to acknowledge Maya." She looked down at her notepad. This young girl noticed things that adults didn't. She stayed calm, kept her little brother safe, and made enough noise to stop a very dangerous situation before it could get worse. That takes a kind of courage most adults don't even have. Maya felt her face flush, and she quickly looked down at her shoes. I knew something felt wrong," she mumbled. "That's exactly the point," the officer said. "When something feels wrong, it usually is. And the sooner we listen to that feeling, the sooner we act, the more people we can protect." As officers continued collecting evidence and recording statements, Maya looked up at the playground. The swings now empty, the monkey bars silent, the laughter gone for the moment. It didn't feel like the same place anymore. She turned to her mom. "Do you think they'll catch him?" Her mother hesitated. "With what you gave them, I think they'll have a much better chance now." Maya leaned back and let herself breathe. The sun was starting to dip lower in the sky, and the shadows stretched across the grass like long fingers. But the danger, the man in the white truck, wasn't hiding in the shadows anymore. He had been seen, and that meant he wouldn't be hiding much longer. It had been 5 days since the ice cream truck sped away from the park, and Maya hadn't stopped thinking about it. At night, when the world was quiet and Jordan had fallen asleep, Maya would lie in bed staring at the ceiling, her thoughts circling. Not because she was scared, but because something inside her wouldn't let go. She kept playing it over in her head, the way the man's voice changed, the look in his eyes when she called him out, that scar near his eyebrow, the unmarked truck, and the notebook. The notebook had kept her up most of all. The police hadn't shared everything that was inside, but they didn't need to. Just hearing there were names and details, playgrounds, times, routines, had been enough. This man hadn't stumbled into the park by accident. He'd been planning something, maybe for weeks, maybe longer. And if Maya hadn't spoken up, she didn't even want to finish that thought. Now, walking home from school with Jordan and a few neighborhood friends, Maya was quieter than usual. They were laughing about something, a movie or maybe snacks. But Maya's mind drifted. They passed, Oakwood Park on the way home. It wasn't as big as Riverside, where everything had happened, but it had swings and a slide, and a little fountain that always made Jordan stop and toss in a coin, even if he just wished for ice cream. Jordan raced ahead toward the fountain, clutching a crumpled penny. His friends followed. Maya slowed near the park's entrance, and then she saw it, a white truck, just sitting there, parked beneath a tree, half in shadow. Dusty, quiet. Maya stopped cold. She didn't need to see the whole thing, the shape, the clean white paneling, the empty space where a logo should have been. It was all the same, but her eyes needed proof. She looked closer. Still no branding, the license plate, smudged with dirt. And then, her stomach dropped. He stepped out of the truck. He was wearing a gray shirt now, a baseball cap pulled low, his hair shorter, face clean-shaven. But nothing could hide the scar above his right eyebrow. It was him. He was back. Maya's breath hitched, but her feet didn't move. She didn't scream. She didn't panic. She turned slowly toward the others. Jordan had just tossed his coin in, the fountain. His friends were laughing, distracted. Maya's voice was calm even. "Hey," she said softly. "I need you all to go to the flower shop, right now. Walk normal. Don't run. Just go." They looked at her, confused. "Why?" Jordan asked. "Please, just trust me." Something in her tone made them listen. The kids turned and started walking toward the corner. Maya pulled out her phone with steady hands and called her mom. "He's here," she whispered as soon as her mom picked up. "The ice cream truck man. Oakwood Park. Right now." "What? Are you safe?" "I am. I made Jordan and the others leave. I'm hidden. But Mom, he's already trying to talk to kids again. I can see him." "I'm calling the police now. Maya, don't go near him. Just stay back." "I'll stay out of sight," Maya said. "But I'm getting pictures." Her mom didn't argue. She knew by now. When Maya said she was watching, she meant it. Using the bushes and parked cars for cover, Maya crept closer. Her hands trembled slightly as she raised her phone. Click. She got a photo of his face as he leaned out of the truck window. Click. Another of the license plate. Dirty, but readable now. Click. Then she hit record. He was doing it again. His voice was soft, fake sweet, as he leaned toward a little boy. "Want to see something really fun? I've got games in the back, just for big kids like you." The boy looked unsure. Maya's stomach flipped, her phone buzzed. A text from her mom. "Police are on the way. Stay hidden. Don't let him see you." Maya didn't reply. She kept filming. Then, sirens. The man's head snapped up. The fake smile dropped. 2 unmarked cars pulled up, boxing in the truck from front and back. "Police! Step away from the vehicle!" It was Officer Martinez, the same woman from last time, her voice sharp and clear. The man bolted. He didn't even try to explain this time. He leapt from the truck and sprinted toward the wooded path behind the park. 2 officers chased after. Him, fast. But the man had a head start. Maya ran too, not toward him, but toward her brother and the others, who were standing near the flower shop now, wide-eyed. "You're okay," she said quickly. "Stay here." Within minutes, the chase was over. The man had made it into the woods, but not far. He stumbled. Officers tackled him near the fence line, pinning him to the ground. When they walked him back toward the cars, handcuffed, he looked up and saw Maya. Their eyes locked for a single moment. There was something in his face, not fear, not even shame, just recognition. She was the one who stopped him. Maya stood her ground, even as her mom pulled her into a tight hug. "You did it again," her mom whispered. "You really did." Officer Martinez approached a moment later, catching her breath. "We've got him," she said. "And thanks to you, We have pictures, video, and statements from parents who saw him trying again. That's enough for a case. The officer paused. You know, I don't say this lightly, but you may have saved more than one child's life today. Maya didn't know what to say. She just nodded, and for the first time in days, she felt like she could finally breathe. 2 days later, Maya sat quietly on a chair inside the police station, swinging her legs slightly under the table. She wasn't nervous. Not anymore. She was tired, sure. Everything that had happened was still settling in her mind like dust in the air. But she didn't feel small anymore. She felt steady. Strong in a way she hadn't realized she was until the moment she'd stepped forward and spoken up. Across from her, Officer Martinez laid out several folders on her desk. Her voice was calm but firm. Maya, she said, we've identified him. His name is James Keller. He's wanted in multiple states for attempting to lure children using the same method. Different towns, different names, always the same. White truck. Maya nodded slowly. She didn't know what to say to that. How could she? Her hands rested in her lap, fingers clasped. Martinez continued. Your photos, your video, your statements, they gave us what we needed. We found more evidence in the back of the truck. Fake IDs, disguises, even copies of the same notebook he dropped in the park. Maya's mom, sitting beside her, let out a shaky breath and squeezed her hand. There are other families, Martinez said gently, who are incredibly grateful for what you did. Some who don't even know yet that they could have been next. But because of you, they never will be. Maya glanced up, her voice soft. So he'll go to jail? For a long time, the officer said. He won't hurt anyone else. That night, the story hit the local news. Maya's name wasn't mentioned, just a brave young girl whose instincts helped stop a repeat offender. But word still spread quickly. Neighbors found out. Parents talked. Kids whispered her name at school like she was something out of a comic book. But Maya didn't feel like a superhero. She just noticed what didn't feel right and refused to look away. A few days later, the mayor invited Maya and her family to a community meeting in the town square. It wasn't flashy, just a small podium, some folding chairs, and people gathered around to hear how the town would be doing more to keep children safe. There were new signs going up in every park, safety tips, hotline numbers, and reminders for parents to stay alert. Every licensed ice cream truck in the city would now carry a brightly colored permit, visible on both sides. And more security cameras would be added to areas near schools and playgrounds. None of this would have happened, the mayor said, without one person noticing what the rest of us missed. He turned to Maya and gave a small nod. Maya didn't go up on stage. She didn't give a speech. She stood beside her mom and held her brother's hand, her eyes watching the kids running through the grass under the setting sun. Carefree again. Like they should be. She felt Jordan lean closer. You're kind of a superhero, you know, he said seriously. Maya smiled at him. Not really. Yeah, he insisted. You didn't wear a cape, but you paid attention. That's even cooler. Later that week, Maya was invited to speak at her school. She didn't want to at first, but her teacher convinced her. Just talk like you're telling a story, she'd said. So Maya stood in front of her class and told the story. She didn't make it dramatic. She just said what she saw, and what she felt, and why she chose to speak up. Even if it's just a small feeling, she told them, like something isn't right, don't ignore it. And don't be afraid to say something. You don't have to be loud, you just have to be clear. Her classmates clapped. One kid raised his hand and asked if she was scared. Maya thought about that. Then she answered, Yeah, I was. But doing something scared still matters. It still helps. That simple answer was more powerful than any headline. Over the next few weeks, her neighborhood changed. Not in big, flashy ways, but in quiet ones. Parents started watching more closely. Ice cream trucks got checked. Older kids walked their younger siblings home. And Maya noticed that other kids, even ones she didn't know well, started coming to her if they felt unsure about something. She had become something she didn't expect. A reminder that paying attention can protect people. That small things, a look, a voice, a decision, could change everything. One warm afternoon, Maya and her mom sat on their porch, sharing ice cream cones from their favorite shop, the one with actual permits and real smiles. As they watched Jordan draw chalk dragons on the sidewalk, Maya looked over and asked, "Do you think it's over now?" Her mom thought about it. "I think it's just the beginning," she said. "For you, for this community. People are watching out now. Because of you." Maya didn't say anything. She just nodded. The wind picked up, gentle and warm. It carried the sound of kids laughing from down the block. And in that moment, Maya finally felt something she hadn't felt since that first day at the park. Peace. Because sometimes the biggest difference doesn't come from shouting or fighting. Sometimes it comes from noticing the quiet things and having the courage to say, "This isn't right." Maya had done that, and it changed everything.